The Toronto real estate market has cooled. There's absolutely no question about that. But to what extent have things cooled, and why have they cooled? How long are these conditions going to remain? Is the market going to crash, or is there going to be a rebound of the Toronto real estate market? How exactly have things cooled as well in terms of price, days on market, and what does this mean for buyers and sellers? As always, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Wiltron Realty Inc. My job is to cover the market trends and bring you the latest news, and that's exactly what we're going to do in today's video. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Wiltron Realty Inc. As always, back with another video for you guys here today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Sam, a Toronto real estate agent working within the Toronto and GTA real estate market with buyers and sellers. On this channel, we like to discuss all things Toronto real estate market oriented, buyer advice, seller advice, market news, market trends, building reviews, area analysis, pre-construction previews, and so much more. So if you find any of this content informative, feel free to subscribe and follow, or if you have any further questions, you can always get in touch with me with my contact information on the screen and in the description box. Lastly, many of the metrics I'm covering in today's video in terms of the tables, in terms of the charts, and in other videos that I go through, you can get first access to if you join my exclusive WhatsApp group. It's a 100% anonymous group where I'm the only admin. I can only see who's part of the group, and I share across all these interesting charts, whether they are charts that I have pulled from the TREBB Resale Market Report or a Zoocasa report, or whether they're charts and graphs that I've created myself in preparation for a video or in research for a client. So if you really want to stay tuned with the market and know the latest trends, definitely feel free to join that WhatsApp group. The link is in the description box. But anyways, enough of all that. Let's get to the point of today's video. As I said off the bat, there's no question about it. The Toronto real estate market has cooled. But what do I exactly mean by that? Well, what I mean is that in June of 2023, this video is being recorded obviously July 7th, 2023. So June is the most recent month we have full data available for. Well, as of June 2023, the market has dipped when we compare June 2023 to May or April of 2023. So on a month-over-month basis, when we take a look at June versus May, or even June versus April in some metrics, the market has cooled and dipped. And this is not only based on the numbers that I'm going to cover upcoming in this video, it's also based upon my experience on the ground as a Toronto real estate agent. When I was working with buyers in June, we had much easier time. I had a much easier time navigating the market, negotiating for good deals on their behalf, negotiating for conditional deals. There was less competition and inventory was increasing. So I also saw this on the ground as well with my purchases in June versus, to be frank with you, I didn't have any purchases in May. I mostly had sales in May. And that tells me something because May was a really strong month for sellers, at least the first 2 weeks. So the market has definitely cooled compared to May and April. But on a year-over-year perspective, things look a bit different. June this year, 2023, was a stronger month in whole as opposed to June of 2022. So let's first start with the number that everyone is interested in, which is the average sold price across the GTA. This is including all areas within the GTA and all property types. Well, the average sold price across the GTA was $1,182,000. This represented a 3.7% increase year over year. This obviously represented a 3.2% increase year over year, wherein in June of 2022, the average sold price was $1,145,000. And take into account this is average, right? This is not a median price. Nonetheless, though, when we take a look at things from a month over month perspective, comparing June prices to May prices, we actually see a dip in prices. We see a 1.1% dip. Now, this dip is a marginal dip, the definition of a marginal dip, right? So I'm not only going based upon a 1% decline in prices to say the market is cooled. I'll make that case a little bit more in detail as we go on upon other metrics that are not prices. But once again, obviously the market has dipped a bit at 1.1% because in May, we were just shy of 1.2 million as an average price across the GTA. We were looking at $1,196,000. Once again, to reiterate, right now in June, we were looking at $1,180,000. So a 1.1% dip month over month, nonetheless a 3.2% increase year over year. But let's break down the property types a little bit more in detail, right? Let's, for instance, take a look at detached, just the detached property. Well, the detached across the GTA was also down on a month-over-month basis. Once again, marginally down, not down substantially, down 1.6% month-over-month, because in May of 2023, the average sold price for a detached property was $1,556,000, whereas right now we're looking shy of that number. We're looking at $1,530,000. Nonetheless, though, on a year-over-year basis, this number, much like the general number, is up. And the same thing would apply to all the other property types if we were to take a look at townhomes, semis, and condos, right? I'm going to cover those in more detail in upcoming videos, but let's just quickly also cover condos as well. Much like the general figure and much like detached, condos were also down month over month by 1.2%, where the average sold price across the GTA for a condo was $739,000. That is obviously in June of 2023, whereas in May of 2023, the average was $748,000. But here, funny enough, year over year, condos were actually down a bit by a factor of about $6,000 to $8,000, less than 1%. But obviously these prices are based on inventory, right? Inventory supply impacts prices substantially along with demand, right? We'll talk about demand a bit later, but looking at the supply side of things, new listings, so how many properties came onto the market in that month, actually decreased. New listings actually decreased year over year by 3%, because in June of 2023, we were looking at 15,800 new listings, whereas in June of 2022, we were looking at a total of 16,300 new listings. So supply dipped year over year, but the year over year, once again, is not pertinent to the market cooling right now, because on a month over month basis, active listings actually improved significantly, and so did new listings. Because if we take a look at May 2023, the new listings were around 15,100. So an increase of 700, or give or take 700 new listings on a month over month basis. So supply increased, but 700 is not all that substantial. I mean, it's not nothing, but it's not a crazy figure either. However, the more significant increase was with regards to active listings. And this is to be once again differentiated from new listings, because in May of 2023, we were looking at 11,000 active listings. To be exact, 11,800. In June of 2023, we had 14,000 active listings. So an increase of 2,500 plus in active listings. So this definitely contributed to the market cooling, right? As I said earlier in the video, it's not just about the price, it's about inventory. Supply impacts things, right? Supply definitely increased. The supply that was remaining on the market increased in terms of active, and in the same time, demand was diminishing. I mean, look, June, July, August is already a more buyer advantageous market as it is. I'm not obviously saying some buyers don't overpay in June, July, August. I'm also obviously not saying some sellers don't really sell well in June, July, August. That obviously happens, but for the most part, June, July, August already as is are cooler markets and a little bit more buyer friendly. But this specifically, this increase in active listings in combination to a diminishment of demand, and we'll get to that once again, further goes to establish the case for a cooler market. And by the way, all these numbers, all these figures are things I share in advance in my WhatsApp group. So once again, if you want first access to these charts, feel free to go join the group. Now, I've referred to this a couple of times. Why has demand diminished, right? I've said that a couple of times. Well, the suppression of the demand has mainly to do, obviously, with what else? Interest rates, right? In June of 2023, I believe it was June 7th, the Bank of Canada increased its rates. This was coming off the heels of the two preceding meetings before the June one, where the Bank of Canada did not increase. They kept the conditional pause going. So it really hit a break on demand, right? Rates went up. A lot of buyers, saw their borrowing power get diminished. Definitely investors who were going to buy on variable anyways. And they kind of removed themselves from the market. Once again, not all buyers, right? I mainly worked with buyers in June. So we got some pretty good deals, I would say, frankly, because the buyers who could afford to operate in June, well, market was much cooler market. But those who couldn't, obviously demand diminished, they removed themselves from the market. In the same time, supply was increasing, right? So supply was exceeding demand in June. That's the simple case of it. Going forward though, in July, and once again, this is being recorded July 7th, we have a really interesting date coming up, July 12th, which is the next Bank of Canada meeting date, right? And I covered some of this in my most recent video with the latest CPI coming out and what the Bank of Canada is likely to do in the July meeting. The latest CPI was a really mixed bag. We really don't know what the Bank of Canada was going to do. Honestly, it's a flip of a coin in my opinion. They can raise it 25 basis points or they can keep the pause going. They're definitely not going to cut rates, so forget about that. But the point here is that if they do raise it, you can expect a further cooling market. You can expect a further declining market going into June and August. So I would not be surprised to see the same exact conditions that we're discussing so far in June continuing into July. And if they don't increase it in July, who knows? Maybe we're looking at a plateau, things will even off, or maybe we'll look at a small uptick. Another key indication that the Toronto real estate market cooled because sales actually increased year over year by 16%, jumping from 6,400 to around 7,500, I believe 7,480 to be exact. So yes, a more active market than last June, but last June was like historically low in terms of sales. I mean, it was the bottom of the pit really. But when we compare June to May, sales actually dropped. That's right. Because in May of 2023, we had around 9,000 sales. So this is almost a drop of 1,600 sales going into June. So once again, this is somewhat seasonal. Things do slow down to June and July, but this is yet another, key indication that the market has cooled. Sales are down, less activity in combination to an increase of inventory as we just covered, a diminishment of demand as we just covered, resulting in a drop of prices. Not substantial drop, but a marginal drop, but noticeable nonetheless. So anyways, those are the June numbers, the latest month we have in full. Going forward, I'm going to cover some of the prices in more detail, and obviously we're going to have our eyes on the July 12th meeting to see what the Bank of Canada announces. Other than that, I have a lot of more cool content planned for you guys. Building reviews coming up, some property tours, some listings I just sold coming up as well. As always, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate. Let me know if you have any further questions with regards to any topics covered in this video or any topics covered in other videos. As always, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.